All right, Art 1, 7-2 is what we're going to look at today, the second part of Chapter 7 notes. And we are going to talk about value. So if you remember from 7-1, we were looking at color. The three properties of color are hue, value, and intensity. We looked at hue last time here, and we did this color wheel. And now we're going to look at value. So value refers to the darkness or lightness. Refers to darkness or lightness. So a tint is a light value of a hue. Light value of a hue. And a shade is a dark value of a hue. Okay, now a tint of a hue is when you add white to the color. Or you add the color to white. You know, one of those two things. Depends on the color and how much of a tint you want. For a shade, you add black. So tints and shades. So let's look in our book here on page 160. There's a nice diagram of tints and shades, and we're going to actually create something like this in class. Here's the hue. Here's red is the hue, or this is the orange, I guess. And the shades, you can see you add black. You've got these different shades of black, of the orange, and then the tints, you add white to it. So you can see a very light tint and a very dark shade. Tints, shades, tints are lighter, shades are darker. And there's the hue there in the middle. Now for tints, when you're painting a tint, a lot of times it's better to start with white. So we're going to say just like a little painting note here, because we're going to do a project here. So for tints, it's better to start with white and add bits of color. To get your tints. Instead of starting with the color and adding white, it generally is going to work much better and waste way less paint if you start with white and add little bits of color to it. For black, however, or for the shades, however, you want to start with the color and add bits of black. Now with darker hues, like blue or red or purple, you'll add more black to it at the beginning than like a yellow. Yellow, you add just a little tiny bit of black and it'll change colors really quickly. It'll change value really quickly is what I should say, sorry. Okay, along with value here, there's some certain kind of types of painting that I want to look at. So there's a high key painting. This means that the painting is, it uses mainly tints. Uses mainly tints. And if we were in class, I would show you, I'd do like a little Google search and we would look at those. And I have some in the book that we can look at in just a second. I want to write low key paintings first. Painting. A low key painting uses mainly shades. So if a painting uses mainly tints, you can expect it to be light. The value should be very light. It should be tints. So here is in our book on 161, we have this Monet here, and you might not see it very well on the camera, on the video here, but you can see it's very light. There aren't any really dark values in this painting. So this would be a high key painting because it's light. It's soft too, but that's not necessarily a high key quality of a painting. But it's light. There's no dark values in here at all. Now this painting here below it on 161 is mostly dark. You could call this a low key painting because it's mostly dark. There are some high key elements here, but it's mostly dark. It's almost all dark. You can call this a low-key painting, even though it has some highlights in it. The vast majority of this painting is dark. So this would be more of a low-key painting, and this would be a high-key painting. All right, and that is all we're going to do for notes for value.